As narrated by me in an earlier episode, Lakshmana drove Sita to a place near Valmiki ashram and left her there. Looking at Lakshmana and his chariot receding into the distance, writes Valmiki, Sita was upset. Intense grief enveloped her as soon as she lost sight of the chariot. She could not see anyone who could protect her. The venerable queen, who was pregnant with a king's child, crushed by a mountain of sorrow, sat weeping loudly in the forest, resounding with the cries of peacocks. In this video, I have included a Pahari painting from the National Museum, New Delhi, which shows this scene where Sita is left high and dry. She is being looked after by birds and other animals. This painting also includes a desolate Lakshman looking back and feeling sad over what he had to do. This painting includes the arrival of Valmiki also. I have put these things separately as well as in the original painting as a whole. Please look at them and enjoy. Some children playing nearby noticed the weeping Sita. They ran into the ashrama and appraised Maharishi Valmiki of her presence. They said, Bhagwan, on the banks of the Ganga sits a woman who looks like Lakshmi incarnate. She appears to be the wife of some noble king. We have never seen her. She weeps because she is unable to understand what has befallen her. Her face is distorted while she weeps. Bhagwan, please come and judge for yourself. She appears to be a Devi who has descended from the skies. She is very good looking, but appears to be in deep sorrow. She sits alone, helpless, and weeps bitterly like an orphan. It appears that she seeks your protection. That is why she has descended near the ashram. Valmiki possessed divine vision. He saw through the situation and arrived at the site where Maithili was weeping inconsolably. He was accompanied by some pupils. He carried a pretty arghya vessel to welcome the wife of Ramachandra. The glorious Valmiki's presence made Sita comfortable and happy. Affectionately addressing her in sweet words, he said, Pativrate, you are the daughter-in-law of the Maharaja Dashratha, beloved queen of the king Ramchandra and the daughter of the king Janaka of Mithila. I welcome you wholeheartedly. I became aware of your arrival while meditating. Further, I am aware of the circumstances of your departure from Ayodhya. I know why you have been vanished by Rama. Through my divine insight, I get to know of all the happenings in the three worlds. Vaidehi, I am certain of your chastity. Give up your grief and shed all worries. You are safe under my protection. A few tapasvinis live close to my ashram and are engaged in tapasya. They will look after you like a daughter. I offer you arghya and welcome you. You may forget your worries, my daughter, and let go of fear. Consider this ashram to be your home. Shed your grief. Listening to Valmiki's soothing words, Sita bowed her head to him and said, I shall do as you desire. Time passed. The time came for the birth of the child Sita was carrying. It was midnight when she gave birth to not one but two children, two sons of Rama. The ashram children brought the good tidings to Valmiki. They said, Bhagwan, Ramchandra's wife has given birth to two sons. O glorious Maharishi, kindly take whatever action you have to make sure that the infants stay healthy. Valmiki went over to the cottage where the babies were born. The infants looked pretty as the new moon and glorious like the sons of the Devatas. He chanted mantras to protect them from all negative omens. He gathered a bunch of kusha grass and sheaves of corn and asked the attending elderly women to purify the young ones. The child delivered first was to be sprinkled with the holy water from kusha leaves and to be named Kusha. The later born was to be purified with the holy water sprinkled with sheaves of corn and named Lava. The Rishi said, these boys will be known as Kusha and Love, and these names will be renowned in the world. By coincidence, Shatrughna, the youngest brother of Ram, was camping in the same ashrama. He heard of the murmur in a cottage near his abode, and the names of Ram and Sita being mentioned repeatedly. Learning of the birth of the twins, he entered Sita's cottage. He bowed to her and said, Mother, this is a great event and a sign of good fortune. Shatrughan sat talking to Sita at the birth of the sons of the royal family. Under Rama's order, Shatrughan had carved a new kingdom on the banks of the Ganga with a capital named Madhupuri. After a lapse of 12 years, he decided to visit his elder brother at Ayodhya and seek his blessings. Travelling towards Ayodhya, Shatrughan spent a night at the Valmiki ashram. The latter welcomed him and offered the king's hospitality befitting his status. Later in the evening, Valmiki told Shatrughan several tales of bravery and devotion. After dinner, a recital of Ramacharitra had been arranged for the delight of the king and his entourage. It was a melodious recitation to the accompaniment of a veena. It was a poetic composition sung in mandra, madhyama and tar swaras that sprang from the heart, the throat and the crown. The poem had been written in Sanskrit with flawless grammar. Various styles of composition had been used while writing the verses. Every shloka was set to music in appropriate tal and rag. It was a beautiful rendition of Lama's life and a unique narrative in itself. Listening to this, Shatrughan shed tears and lost consciousness. When the young came to his senses, he took several deep breaths. In the words of the song, he had heard the story of the past happenings. His companions commented and said, Maharaja, we witnessed these events and now we are hearing their narration in this ashram. It is incredible. Is it a dream? Why not ask Maharishi Valmiki about these amazing things? However, after talking it over, they decided not to make any inquiry of the Maharshi. Later, Rama's two sons went with Maharishi Valmiki to Rama's court, and there they sang the Ramayana as composed by the Rishi in the presence of the king. We'll take it up in a different video. Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Jai Shri Ram.